Welcome back to On the Nose. This is part 2 of the conversation with Hikari. Oh, I was going to ask you about because you got rid of your cricket, your cricket. I say cricket, you say cricket.
Oh, go ahead.
And I wanted to know what you got instead.
I have a Romeo, which is by Caesar, and it has not off-cut a single sticker at all. It's extremely fast. It's probably the best piece of machinery I've ever used.
So it doesn't do the thing where like it cuts a millimeter off so that your stickers look funky.
No, it cuts perfect. Like this one is an example of the crick of the Romeo, and it's like buttery smooth around the edges. It doesn't have the jagged cut. And this was of course printed on white vinyl, so there is no white border on it. It just perfectly cut it out.
You, whoa, because like that's like one of my like I get like I it just it makes me so mad, and I've like I've just got this point where I'm like my stickers are just going to be like a tiny bit off because no matter how many times I've like calibrated it, it just is never. And every now and again it'll do it just right, and then the second one it'll be like cut stuff in half, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
And there's a lot of other things like, okay, my Romeo, I forgot to log into it the last 6 or 8 times, and it still lets me cut my stuff out because it saves the files locally. It doesn't force you to upload them online somewhere. It also, if it misses the scan mark and can't find the scan mark for whatever reason, there's a touch screen. You go, it's right here, and you touch it, and you hit OK, and it goes. It's
oh,
fine.
that
Um,
sounds like
there's
better.
there's two different. Oh, let me tell you, if you ever get the funding, there's two versions. If you don't need a 24-inch cutter, don't get the Romeo, because I got a Romeo because I will be cutting 24-inch vinyl once we're at safety. Um, there's the Juliet, which is the 12-inch version, and it works phenomenal. And it's the same exact machine. The only difference between them is this one's a 24-inch cutter, and the Juliet is a 12-inch cutter. But you can use the Cricut mat. You can place the sticker sheet on there in any way you want to. You can insert it in the machine any way you want to, as long as the registry marks. You put the arrow in the bottom left corner. That's all you got to do in the like so that it's upright. Because when you stick it in, it scans for the mark, and you can either insert the stickers where they're at the top of the mat. You can insert it where they're at the bottom of the mat. You can put it on the right side of the mat, the bottom right. You can stick the thing any way you want to, as long as the top of the sticker is inserted first. That's all you got to do, just top first. And that's so easy to do versus the Cricut has to be perfectly in that upper left corner, and then you stick it in, and then it'll try to scan, and even if it doesn't scan, then it'll make you rescan. Whereas with this one, if it can't find it for whatever reason, maybe it's too far over, you can manually move the head around and then hit scan, and then it'll move over a little bit and scan. So, like, let's say if I put that mat on the far right side of the machine and it's a 12-inch mat, and then I put the stickers on the bottom right hand corner of the mat, even, I could just move the cutting head all the way to the edge of the mat and then hit send a cutter, and it'll move over onto the mat and look for the scan line. And if it doesn't find it, you can hit like little down arrow and search for it in the camera. It's got a camera that shines right down to let you see what it sees.
Huh.
And you can touch the registration mark in the corner and hit OK, and it'll move to it. And if it finds it perfectly, it'll just go on and scan the whole page and then cut out. And I did a unboxing testing video with it, and it's I have never had a problem out of it, and it doesn't force updates on you. It's not automatic. You can even download older software. It'll let you download older than current stable one or a beta version, and it'll leave it alone. There's no upgrades necessary.
And the blades, because I
It uses
one of
the
the issues that
blades. Um,
because the cry cut, like I just feel like the blades never last that long. I just don't get like I'm not getting great cuts, and I was wondering if it's because the Crico's just not working well, so it's like wearing them down.
Cricket uses the blade because this one, same exact blades. I was so excited when I figured out that this one uses the same exact blades as the Cricket, because that means all those 100 blades that I had will fit this thing. Um, I replace them about every when I start seeing little wrinkles on the side of the sticker is when I replace them. But I've noticed that because this machine is faster and smoother, it just zips through it. It does not struggle with the same kind of like jagged edge that the Cricut struggled with. And so, like, I wish I could give you a demo, but it's piled up right now. But it's very very nice. You can adjust the speed, the pressure manually. And then even beyond that, you can actually set the blade height over on the machine manually too. So there's a lot of things about it that make it more hands-on. It's better for professional use. I would say somebody that's maybe not confident in tinkering and just trying it might struggle a bit because they're like, I don't want to break it. it's it's not a machine that I feel like would be easy to break unless you were forcing stuff. Because the blade holder has this little thumb screw, right? So you sit there and undo this little thumb screw. I don't even have to be over there at it. And this is the blade holder. And you can adjust the height with this screw, so you can unscrew it and then lock it in with this one. And then, of course, it does the same thing where you push the pin and it ejects the blade. But it's the exact same blade as the Cricut.
That's cool. And it like there's I assume that there's like presets for like different materials and
There's,
all that.
I have mine set up manually because I found the 85 pressure with this one cuts through everything one pass, no problem, and very smooth. So nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Speed all
I
the way to max and everything.
yeah, because that's what the cry cut it would say, oh, it'll cut through this thing and I'll have the exact thing it says it's gonna cut through, and then it doesn't. And then I'm doing it like 3 or 4 more times to get it to go through. And I'm just like, what the
Yeah.
hell, man?
The more times you have to cut out with a Cricut, the more little hairs you get. This
Yeah.
thing puts it in the same exact spot so precisely that I've never had hairs off of it. And when I first got it, I had to recut a page like 4 or 5 times to get the pressure just right. And it never once missed that original slice. And I'm just like, what?
Wow.
That is so accurate. Like, what?
That's
So
cool.
if you ever get to a point where you can afford to get a Juliet, if you're using the 12 or the Romeo is expensive. Yeah, I got it because we're selling a tremendous amount of stickers, and again, we're going to try to do 24-inch vinyl. But like the Juliet is $4.99 or $3.99, something like that. The Romeo is $7.99 or $6.99. It's hefty, but it's so. I would
It
buy.
sounds like a good investment.
I
Yeah.
would buy it again because the amount of material I lost on the Cricut was in a single day. I lost $260 worth of stickers, and a Cricut brand new is only like $300. Like
Right.
they lost the worth of the Cricut off of a single day.
Yeah, I think I get like half my stuff gets tossed,
Oh
because of it. It's so frustrating. Like, and I'll get a bunch to come out pretty good, but they're not exact. And I realize that like some people may not look at the sticker and notice that they're not exact, but I notice. So then I have to go with a razor blade and fix them so
yeah,
that they look correct. They have to be even. And that's like a whole lot of time I'm putting into something I'm selling for like $2, like
yeah. That's exactly why we finally made this. Now, when we made the switch, the day that I got tired of it, I had not the Romeo hadn't even made it. I finally decided to order it, and then the very next day, while waiting on the Romeo, I got a bunch of orders. That's when I lost $260 worth of stickers, and I'm like, okay, all right, I will shut down this business for the weekend. And I took my Cricut outside, and I took a 15-pound sledgehammer to it, made a video about it. It was so great. there was a lot of mixed feelings on that video from commenters. Like some were like, "You're just mad because it didn't like you didn't set it up right." I'm like, I calibrated this thing before every sticker sheet, and it still butchered the sheet. That's not my fault.
Yeah. Right.
Um, other people were like, "That was so cathartic for me," and I'm like, "I'm glad I could
Yeah, I
bring."
saw the video and I was like, "Ha ha ha." I have like a I have a deep appreciation for technology destruction videos after working in IT for many years.
And that's World Health Industries was the last IT job for me. That killed it because I was a lead systems administrator, and it's not fun because if it
Yeah.
runs off electricity, that person, the boss, that owner of the company, thought it was my fault. Like I don't deal with phones. I'm a computer person. What? That's call AT&T. Like,
Right.
but I had never at that moment. In that moment, I was smashing the ever loving soul out of that cricket. I had never seen the movie Office Space. Not and all the comments says, "Oh, you went Office Space on that," and everybody's like, "Ah, oh, that was such an Office Space moment." And I'm just like, my partner even said that. I'm like, "No, I've never seen the movie." So I actually
Yeah.
that movie that night. I'm like, "Ah, I get it now."
I smashed a big monitor way before Office Space even existed, and so when Office Space came out, I was like, "Hey, they did what I did." Like
So that's the thing. I'm not alone.
It's I
Oh.
think it's just a thing. It's, some parts of the human population enjoy smashing stuff and
I enjoy percussive maintenance a little more than I should.
percussive maintenance.
I mean, it was the amount of stickers that I got butchered, dude. I plastered my desk in offcuts. Like my whole desk is completely plastered around the area from 4 feet this way down to about 4 feet that way. So there's an 8 foot row of just overlapping stickers, and I have this wad of offcuts that I kept. Some of them I sprinkled on the machine before I smashed it. But I have a whole pouch of ones I kept to remind me of. Yep. Uh,
I um I put them in a oops pile, and when people say my friends buy stuff from my shop, I would like just throw in a couple and put them in a little envelope, be like, "This is for my oops pile," just free stickers.
right. I need to. I guess
But
I should have done there, but I feel guilty sending off stickers that aren't perfectly centered.
I know, but that's why I put the disclaimer, and then they could toss them if it's too off for them. But I some people put them on their laptop and they didn't mind. So I was like, it made me feel better to feel like they weren't being wasted. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be adding that to the list of things to save up for, and maybe I'll look into like if I can sell the cry cut instead of destroy it, and then I could put that money towards it. I no ju absolutely no judgment. The catharsis is I
Well
have thought
done.
about getting into pottery just so that it can crack so that I can break it. Like
You know what? That's a valid thing because you can recycle pottery up until all the way just until you get until it's used for something that doesn't break.
yeah,
Although I'm scared to do it because the investment.
yeah. I found a school in or pottery place that does school stuff in the area I'll be moving to for the RV, and they offer scholarships. Like you write them and tell them about your situation, and so I'm thinking about signing up for that. Because I've always wanted to do pottery, but never had the like funds. But if I could do it through a scholarship, right, it would be free. Then I would totally do it. And since I have a rheumatoid arthritis, which is just in the early stages, I'm like, I should do it now
Yeah.
before my hands hurt too much to do it at all.
Well, if you do pottery, I'm just saying that's content that people love pottery, especially if you make something really pretty and you're practicing and then you just squish it. I love those videos. Like I love it. There's one
Ah.
thing called Healer, and he'll sit there and make a really cool thing and just What?
Yeah, Facebook's been showing me pottery, resin, and paint pours. And resin and paint pour are things that I do. The pottery is the one that I don't do. And I was like, oh, I see what you're doing, Facebook. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get me to chase the dopamine.
I'm gonna tell you, if I had the money, pottery was something I thought about. Spinning, making my own yarn,
Hmm.
mainly because I can make carpets and crochet, so being able to make the yarn would actually be really nice. I feel like I
Yeah.
could just basically live out in a cottage, like, and be self-sustained because everything that I like doing, I could make pigments from paint, like from stuff laying around, and I could make clay from the ground around me because we're in Mississippi and there's nothing but clay around here. So pottery would be a good option because I could just go outside and process some clay from out in
Yeah.
the
That would be fun.
I don't know. But then I also I want to get back into airbrushing because I did airbrushing for a long time, and at this point, my airbrush is looking like okay, all of my paint is cured and congealed and no longer good, and it was $3 per little jar. Had like 30 jars. I'm like, well, that's $100 worth of paint.
Yeah.
It's $10 a jar now. I'm like, for this little bitty, tiny little container. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? What? So now, if I were to replace all that paint, that's like $300 worth of paint now, and I'm like, what? So it's hard for me to want to jump into airbrushing, especially since there's no customer base there. So even like, I would have to have an income and just do it as a hobby. As
Yeah.
to furthering our business, I've basically stuck to stickers and sticker books, the notepads, and the rugs because that's something that's repeatable and I can keep doing that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that great at painting.
I'm not I like doing like the paint pours. Especially like I'll like pour a little and then use like air to move it around instead of doing like a big one that's just like takes 3 minutes to do. I'll do one where it takes me like 20 minutes to like really like move the paint around. But like that's it. I can't I don't really visualize, and so like doing a painting that looks like anything or coming into it with a plan is just not going to happen. I do everything by feel. And yeah, I did get a little airbrush, like a cheap one for my birthday or Christmas or something like 2 years ago, and I've played with it, but I only used it for, to I got these wooden fucks, and I used it to paint those, and then I added, like, wire and stuff to turn them into earrings, and then I was selling those.
It's like these are my wooden fucks to give.
Exactly. Yeah, when I was at my pop-up, I was giving them out. I was like, "Here, you bought something from my shop, here's a fuck."
Right? I feel like I should probably make a sticker that just says fuck, but I already made an F bomb sticker. Like I made a sticker literally just to have, I don't where is that sticker at? Hold on. Where is it? Do I have it? I'll show it to you.
Yeah, the basic like, I have one that says rude, it's just rude with period, 'cause I call things rude when I don't like them, and, yeah. I think you have one of those, I might have sent one to you. Oh, nice.
It's just actually I think I do. I have your stickers on my guitars.
Yeah, I like your stickers are very, like, colorful and, like, shiny, mine are all very, like, black and white and just I have a very different, like, but every time I see yours, I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool," but it's not what I would design, but it's so cool.
Can't help it. I make stuff. The last sticker that I did design on was the 90s, and not all numbers are created equal. I mean, I'm such a poor. I'm punny as I know people probably look at my videos and they're like,
people like that stuff though. I have a keep file, and I put like sticker ideas in there. My issue is like because of my health issues, I don't have the like whatever to do stuff very often. So I'll like design one or two things like every now and again, and I just can't like do it back to back. It's because I have to make my other content. I have to, so it's balancing it. So I don't produce things as quickly as I would like. It also the ADHD medication shortage also impacted me starting November last year, and I still haven't gotten my meds filled. It's and that has not helped me be productive in certain ways.
I don't know what it's like to take ADHD meds. I've been unmedicated for ADHD all my life. I tried it one time while I was in PA. My partner had ADHD meds, and I was like, let me. I got a lot done. I was
Yeah,
so
I
productive.
I was on them for a year, and then the shortage hit. So I was just starting to like, but they for me they like changed my life because the middle age hormone change in women makes ADHD a lot worse. And so I had always managed my ADHD pretty well. And then when I hit the perimenopause, it just like it I could not function, and the medication just, and that's what made me start making stuff and doing the art. I never did art before my meds.
I wonder. I know. I know that we have different bodies altogether, but as a trans person, male, as a trans woman, as a matter of fact, I wonder sometimes, like, will my ADHD get worse as I get older because of being an estrogen filled system instead of a testosterone filled system? It has
Maybe.
it has made me more sensitive to spicy air. Like
Yeah.
prior to HRT, I didn't feel it really, so I could just all day with people. And everybody's like, "Oh, you're recreation." Nope, medicinal. It just takes a lot. Well, now it's more like it doesn't take much at all. I made some medicated butter, and it takes a quarter of a teaspoon a day. That's it.
Yeah.
A day.
That's interesting. Yeah, it must have impacted your receptors. Hormones do so many things that I don't think we even fully understand, like the ways that they can impact us. For trans women, do you, as you get older, will they change your dosage so that you start to taper off the estrogen, or
Well, if I get to safety or somewhere where there's a gender clinic, I'll be able to talk to a doctor about that. Because I am in Mississippi, there is no HRT, there's no doctors. I'm basically, it's completely unknown. I'm, it's complicated, but I knew that I was in jeopardy because my mental health was crashing, and I realized, like, I know why it's crashing. It's because I'm living a lie. I'm cosplaying as a guy, and this sucks and it's miserable. And so I finally researched, and I found the trans community on Reddit, and I made the decision, like, okay, if I'm never going to be able to escape Mississippi, and I'm never going to be able to go to a clinic that actually cares, I'm just going to start my own regimen and go slow and see what happens. And I was all the way up to what's considered the maximum dosage, um, standard maximum dosage. By the time I made it to PA, when I made it to PA, I was already on 8 milligrams a day of estradiol, and I was on 200 milligrams of spironolactone and 100 milligrams of progesterone. By the time I made it to PA, I got to get my blood work done, and they said that I was actually doing really good to keep my routine the same. But that was in November, and then we got evicted from PA, and now I'm back in Mississippi, so I can't see anybody. My prescription is only good till February, which means it'll go from like affordable. It was $2 in PA. Before I went to PA, it was $180. This is how wild the prices are. It was like here, it was $180 a month. When I moved to PA, it dropped to $2 a month. When we got evicted and came back here, because I had to mail order my prescription, that I have a prescription now, though, it was $65 a month on average. This last month, I had to ask for help because it was $120. Well, online, if I were to go back to buying overseas, it's $150. So it dropped by 30 overseas, but um, if I can keep getting it from DIRX, I'll be able to keep going for $60 a month until February, and then my prescription lapses, and if I'm still stuck here, it'll go up to $150 a month. And so I don't exactly know what to do with my dosage. I don't know whether I'm on too much at this point, whether I need to lower it or adjust it. I don't even know. I don't know what my blood is doing. And to my knowledge,
Yeah.
not an at home test. So, yeah,
That's
it's scary.
that's I feel like there should be like sort of a somebody doctors that you could just talk to that could order lab work, and that you wouldn't have to find someone local, because this is such a known issue in certain areas. Like where I live, it's like the most ideal place to be trans. Like
Yeah,
literally. It's, and people are so, I don't even think they realize how, some probably do, but I know a few trans people who seem to not really appreciate like how good it is here in comparison to other places. And just if some of those doctors were able to work over state lines to be available, to be like, okay, we're just gonna send the lab work in for you and do all that, and just make sure that you're safe and getting what you need, that that seems
yeah.
like a service that could exist.
And you know
Should
what?
exist.
I don't. My biggest fear is my heart. I worry about. I have this constant pressure feeling over here in my heart, and I can't. Or it's not my heart. My heart's technically down here, but it feels over here, and then my brain starts panicking. Like, am I going to have a heart attack? Am I in danger? And I don't know because there's no doctors here. Like, and even if okay, I had to change my gender marker from female to male before I came back to Mississippi. Because in Mississippi, if I had a female gender marker on my ID, I'd be outed as a trans person in the middle of the DMV. And it's already extremely dangerous here. And so it's been a roller coaster for me personally, basically since I found out we were getting evicted in January. That's
Yeah.
been a really rough year for me. And then my partner is also trans, and so if I'm in my feels, I can't really imagine what goes on with their emotional state because they keep that away from me most of the time because I'm already like I'm over here just what do I do out of every single day. And I look at other trans people like in other states, and I'm going, I wish y'all knew just how privileged it is for you to be able to smile and laugh and be out in public. I can't even leave my house.
Yeah.
Like if I set foot outside of my house right now, I'm gonna have to change clothes. I'm gonna have to look mad. I'm gonna have to put my hair in some like man bun type shit that looks less feminine because I could be in physical danger. And it
I hate that. I get like full of like, it makes me want to cry. I get so frustrated because I hate that. I hate that anybody goes through that, and I just want to blow people up. People ruin things. It's just so like
I, I don't even I try not to even talk about it because it's heavy and that's not
it
even the
is, but
heaviest thing.
it's also important to talk about it, because people need to know that, I think sometimes people, you get like, if your only exposure is some headlines and what you see on TV, then you have no idea what the reality is, because that's all sound bites and drama and fiction,
Yeah,
and what you're experiencing is unfortunately not unique for a
no,
lot of people, and it's
no,
bullshit, and it shouldn't be happening, you know?
there's there's over 100,000 families being displaced right now in this country due to this stuff, and so it's not just me. And I've seen a few of my content creator friends make it to safety, but people that are we're not privileged, like me and Allie, for an example, we're both stuck in the South. Allie's less privileged than I am, even. Um, Allie's profile has like 4,500 people on it, and they've been at it for quite a long time. They're makers, they're really good at it, and they don't get seen. They get a couple hundred views, maybe, and they get hateful comments left and right. My content doesn't really get hate filled comments. I'm privileged in that regard, and it gets seen more than theirs. When I ask for help, I get help. They don't.
Yeah.
I don't really know, like, God, the complexity. Like, okay, on the other hand, they're to my knowledge, don't have the same issues that I have, where I haven't been able to see my kids in a year. My oldest's birthday is actually in 2 more days, and I haven't seen either one of my kids since July 31st of last year, because if I'm around them, then the state of Mississippi could take my parental rights away from me and arrest me for existing, really. And that's a risk that I can't take. So I'm torn, because it's like, on the one hand, I can't see my kids, but on the other hand, they're 20 minutes away from me. And like when we go fishing for food, because that's where we're at now, we're fishing to be able to eat sometimes. Um, I'm 30-second walk from their house, and I'm just like, I don't really know how to feel about this. They live
I
right
don't.
there by the reservoir, and there's only a couple of places to go fishing. So one of those places is right by their house, and I'm just like, I can't see them. I don't even think they know I'm back in Mississippi. The last time I heard from their mom was like back in March or so.
And that's because the Mississippi laws would see you as some kind of threat or
Yeah,
whatever to your kids just
basically,
because you're trans.
they're the wording is so weird that I don't know exactly which angle they would come at it from, be it an indecent exposure, or like um the child abuse. Like, there's different angles they could approach it from, and I'm like, if you watch any of the videos that do have my kids in it, I'm teaching them electronics. I'm showing them how
Yeah.
to work on something. Like, I don't want them to be even in a political world. I don't
Yeah.
I don't like that my existence is in the political spotlight right now. Like, we weren't even a topic until this year. I was able to exist as a trans person, and nobody ever looked at me twice. I never got judged for it. Out of nowhere, now I get, okay, if I go live stream, I get comments. Some of my videos have comments on them that I've actually responded to let people know, like, I see your comment. That's fine. You can be hateful, but I'm going to call you out on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's been really hard to be a publicly trans person, because then I worry about, like, how many people watch my content, know my kids, family, and all that. Like, because you don't really ever know who's watching your content.
Yeah. That's
So
I
scary.
can't I can't even really put myself in that position. Like when my son was little, I moved like 600 miles away and then he would be with me sometimes, and during the time when he wasn't with me, it's like a part of myself was missing, and I was missing out on those moments and stuff. So that's that just seems that though that law, and it just sounds gross. It's just gross. It's not right. You're like, I've seen videos of you with your kid. You're obviously an awesome parent. Like, just
The
I
only
don't know.
videos I regret are the ones about the bunk bed. Those videos got deleted a while back. Those were on my first account.
The lights were super cool.
They're still there, actually. They're right.
Yeah.
They're still over there. There's an orange one on.
Uh,
It's the dog's bunk bed now. like the dogs are upstairs and their kennels are downstairs. But
So your disability stuff got is are you trying to get SSD now, or where are
right
you at?
now, I'm marked as not eligible for Social Security disability. So right now they're reviewing my case for supplemental security income. And as a matter of fact, I don't even know how far in it's at. But every time I check it, it gives me some random percentage of completion. So like, let me see if it'll let me log in because I could tell you what percentage it's at pretty quickly. Let's see.
Have you ever talked to like a social security attorney or whatever?
I have a lawyer that's supposed to be working on it, called Quick Aid, but I don't really know how much they're actually helping me. Right now, it says typically it takes 341 days for a decision. We have processed 26% of your application.
Wow. So that's moving.
And
Ugh,
it's
it
not
took me
definitely qualified.
4 years.
Wow.
When I got Social Security, it took me 4 years to get it, and I had to get an attorney and all that stuff. So it was, yeah,
I wish I could get actual disability, but it says right now that I don't currently qualify for disability benefits.
it's weird. I honestly don't understand why there's different systems I at all. Like an
Yeah.
SSI, like it's like if you get SSI, like you get treated even worse than if you're on SSD. And like, why? Being disabled is being disabled. Like it's nobody wants to be that way.
I just I don't even know what to do with my future except for I keep making stuff. That's what I know how to do. I know how to make stuff. I'm
Yep.
disabled in a way that I don't know how to help myself, which that's a scary thought. Like I don't know how to help myself out of this situation. And even if I knew how to get out of this situation, could I even be able to do it? Like, is that something that my body could do? Um, I'd considered trying to like it would be hired under false pretenses to go in there and just say, "Hey, I'm ready to work. Just tell me what you need me to do." But I'm debating on seeing if my body could handle it, even though like I'm physically disabled too. Like my leg is not as bad as some people's disabilities, but I still have a rod in my leg, and it still causes me a great deal of pain to try to walk on it. So I I don't know what to do. I know if I do any work, then it'll definitely mess up any chance of my disability or, well, it's supplemental security income. But what do you do? Like, what do you do? Because, like, if my business continues on this trajectory that it's on now, I'm going to have to keep asking the internet for food and medication.
Yeah. When it's I mean, I look at my business. I keep having to remind myself I actually started a business, but I look at my business as like this thing that I'm slowly building up, and hopefully I'm going to build like this foundation so eventually I'll sort of have this not like constant but sort of consistent like pattern of like sales or whatever that hopefully will be more than what they are right now. Um and I that's because I don't have and like when I was renting from my friend, I was literally using the leftover money from selling my house to pay because I didn't have enough to pay the rent and pay the bills and everything with disability. So that's why I started the business. And it was like just hustling to try to like break even before I ran out of money. And now that I've reached that point, it's like, I feel like I can really relate, to what you're saying and sort of that fear and that frustration because like I feel like I'm doing as much as I can do. My body, I cannot go get a job. Like, people see me making all this stuff, but I'll do stuff and then I rest for 3 days,
Yeah.
and sometimes like I don't feel well enough to do stuff for a while. And so I can't be reliable for a job. I miss working. Except for my last job, I actually enjoyed most of my jobs. So that, it was never like I don't want to work kind of thing. Um, and I just try to stay focused on the making things part, but it's so frustrating because like we talked about before, the algorithms are like working against us, and I people tell me like if I wear my stuff out in public or like the other day I had breakfast with my friend and she bought earrings for me and the waitresses were like, "Oh my god, these are," I always get compliments when I go out with my stuff. People like what I'm making, but I cannot online get it in front of people. And I don't see like I'm not bringing in enough money to rent a space to sell my stuff. Like,
Yeah.
the tables at events or, even like farmers markets and stuff are like 100 plus bucks. The crafts events, as I mentioned, are like 250 for like the weekend. And I'm like, how, so I just stay focused. I'm going to keep making stuff. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And every time I find a new opportunity to like get the word out, I will try to jump on that and be as proactive as I can. But I do feel like, like the salmon when they're coming back to breed, like
Yeah.
feel like I'm going.
I felt that so hard. And we got the river that's got a bear chilling out there at the time, just slapping.
Exactly. Um, and and the thing is like every time somebody does something nice for me, like getting help with my GoFundMe, even if people are just sharing it and stuff, that I appreciate that so much. And I hate like I wish that that's all the help I needed. I wish I didn't need more. It's like every time I need more, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I feel like a burden, even though I know like cognitively understand that like I'm not asking for extras. I'm not asking to, be able to buy video games or whatever. I'm literally asking for the bare minimum. And yeah, I sometimes I feel like it's more socially acceptable to like ask for the splurges than it is for the necessities.
I've just read a little snippet that caught my attention while you were talking about that. My ADHD hard to have 6 to 20 of your credits in the 3 years to 10 years before you became disabled to get disability benefits. I have 3, but I need 20. How about that?
Wow, that's weird.
I have 3 of my 40 work credits. Wow.
It seems like I mean, because there are people who get SSD that never work.
That's what I don't
So,
understand. Like, how is it that they don't? It's an ableist rigged system, but my brain still questions like, how is it that they don't realize that I'm disabled with the amount of stuff I've got going on?
right.
I'm surprised to still be able to be a maker, if I'm honest. Like yesterday, I was contemplating deleting my main TikTok channel and shutting it down because it's at a point to where it my mental health is crashing faster in the last few weeks than it has all year. And it's a mixture of things. It's this ever growing anxiety of, are we going to be able to ever get to safety? When am I ever going to see my kids again? Are we going to be without income for a long, like how long? There's so many what ifs and what's, I don't know how to really cope with all of that, if I'm honest, except to keep going live and talking to people and keep making, because ultimately, if I quit, I quit. If I were to ever
Yeah.
quit, it would mess me up too bad. I already know that. I know that I can't give in to it, because if I give it an inch, it'll take a mile.
Yeah. I feel like I can't stop moving because if I sit in it, I won't be able to get back out of it kind
Yeah.
of thing. And as far as like being able to make stuff, I actually was too sick to do the stuff I'm doing now for about 7.5, 8 years. And so the fact that I can do the stuff that I do now is like super, super exciting. Like a lot of the support that I've gotten for like making stuff has come from people who knew me when I was really, really sick and or see me kind of like get to do stuff. And, sometimes I do too much and then I make myself worse for a while, but it's because I'm excited. So it's kind of worth it. But I am so grateful that like I got finally, because it took me 6 years to get doctors to even like believe me and take me seriously. Right. So like I kept firing my doctors and getting new ones. And this just now that I finally have doctors that take me seriously, I have diagnosis that we can actually work on managing the symptoms. I'm not ever going to be like normal. I'm not going to be my normal. But I can at least do some stuff, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
And I would do that stuff whether or not I needed the money. I would do it because I enjoy it. I wish I didn't need the money.
If
Like,
I didn't
I
have
wish I
to
could give
say-
everything away. Like, I would love to just be like stickers for everybody. Like,
I don't know that I would be quite so frequent with sticker design. If money not an option, if money not a problem, excuse me, if money weren't a contributing factor to my decision making, I would love to just make a mixture of a couple of different things. I want to be able to make pottery and miniature polymer clay type things, and I like making rugs, and I like painting. I can't sell any of those things. I can sell stickers, and I don't. I'm good at graphic design I guess to a degree, but like even that's not paying the bills anymore. And it's like, what can I do now? I'm using every talent that I know to keep my channels running from it. Like it's like my brain has like, okay, until we get something more rewarding, we're just gonna lock away motivation.
right.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
but I need that motivation.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been able to paint for a couple of months because I'm not in a place where I can do that. And it actually starts to feel surreal. Like I didn't really do that. I can't do that. That's not a thing I can do. And I'm not saying I'm good at it, but like, you know.
I don't feel that I painted this anymore. This wall.
Wow.
I painted it's 32 feet of mural, and I still, I that's something I wake up to like. I don't remember even painting that. I don't
Yeah. How did you use airbrush or how did you paint it?
paintbrush.
Okay. It looks cool. Like from
I'll
I couldn't paint it to look like anything. If I painted a mural, it would be super abstract and like
I will send you the time lapse. You might enjoy it. It seemed to be enjoyable for some people. Um, Maybe I can tag you. That'd be better.
I just started doing collaging and I've never really done that except in like school or whatever. And it's I don't think I'm good at it, but it's relaxing and I really needed like to do something that felt creative while I don't have it because everything's like in storage.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of nice. They're kind of weird. Like I put eyes on people's fingernails, but
I mean, there's people that put eyeballs on books.
yeah,
Have you seen
that's true.
the mimics, the mimic book?
Yeah, I actually got like 2 years ago or something. I got one for my ex for his Christmas or birthday present or whatever. A nice leather one with the eye, and it's like he can keep his dice in it and all that.
I thought about making one, but the only book I've made that's leather bound is a non-stick book. I made like a sticker book, and after I made that one, the dopamine was like, "Well, that's all you needed. You're not gonna make any more of them." So I
I
haven't.
hate that. I hate it when I get into something and then I'm like, am I ever going to do this again? I want to do it again, but will I be allowed to do it again? Like,
Yeah, PDA and executive dysfunction hit so hard on those because it turned out okay. It wasn't perfect, but it turned out okay. I mean, of course, it's my first book.
yeah.
But that artistic brain goes, it has to be perfect. 'Cause
I don't, yeah. Some of the like art stuff, I should be doing redundancy and I can't do the redundancy, and so that I'm not able to like get better at one particular thing because the ADHD goes, "No, you need to do something new now."
That's probably why the only reason I can do trees. Because all trees, my brain goes, trees are different. Each tree's different.
It's true. Like I
500.
said.
I wouldn't be able to stick to that more than like one day. Day one of painting 500 trees. We're gonna paint one tree every day and then day two would be like, yeah, that was yesterday. We're not doing that anymore.
I would like probably get to like day 4 and then I would like forget. Like I would literally just my brain would be like, nope, and I would forget. And then I'd be like a week later, I'd be like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
Does that mean now I gotta paint like 3 or 4 more trees to make up lost time? Or
I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it.
I have to cater to my ADHD way more than I would like to because of that. Like, if it weren't for stickers being different every time, I wouldn't be able to have stuck with it this long. Like, it's been a year and a half I've been making stickers in house, and it is getting, it is at a point to where it's like I'm out of steam to keep making I was making a design a day or more, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I won't make a design this month.
My issue was not just like the designing, but the fighting with the cry cut. Like that part, anticipating that would make me put it off for like multiple days. And then I'd be like, no, I really need to make these stickers. And
The next time you get like some funding that can go toward a replacement, I would highly recommend the Juliet. If you're already just going to stick with 12-inch, I would get the Juliet hands down. I wouldn't, because the Cameo, it has less offcuts, but it's loud and obnoxious. And if you have sensory stuff, that can be problematic. This thing sounds kind of like a digital whirling alien machine sometimes. If it's moving fast, just I don't know how to explain it. It's just really nice. But the Juliet is one I would recommend because it won't off cut, and once there's a learning curve. It's new software, but once you get the hang of it, it's such a pleasure to work with that it takes me. I could be somebody leave a comment, can you do this sticker? And then in 20 minutes, I can make a video of the sticker that I made.
that's cool.
I can design a sticker really fast,
Yeah.
but it takes longer to print it than it does to cut it. And so printing, laminating, and cutting combined 10 minutes tops.
Yeah. What do you use to laminate?
Um, I have a cold roll laminator. Let me see. It's just a rubber roller, and
Okay.
I do that because hand rolling stickers, I've seen plenty of people do it. A lot of people do it. In fact, almost everybody that's a sticker maker that I know of uses like some type of felt covered ruler. But because I like things to be waterproof, I found that it actually works better to have this cold roll laminator because it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on it and it squeezes out all of the little tiny bits of air that you can't see. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain that any other way, but when you put two pieces of material together, um, it's think of it like there's little micro dots, like tinier than the point of a needle. And the more of them are around the edges, the more likely water can kind of osmosis its way into the sticker. The firmer you laminate it down, the better. Like I did a hand laminated sticker and a cold roll laminated sticker and put them both in the rain, like simulated rain under tap water. And I found that the hand laminated ones tend to get this little ghostly edge around them a lot quicker than one that was pressed together. And so I just started using the roller, but there's no reason why you can't use a felt ruler because that's what a lot of makers use. And you have It's probably less of a nightmare too, because there's a lot of times that it'll wrinkle a sheet because it's like not perfectly lined and stuff. So later, I would say a felt covered ruler would be more than adequate. But
Yeah, I use the Avery clear whatever sheets and then and a thing and just,
yeah,
you know, but it's never like it looks okay, but the sheet itself leaves like a little bit of a like you can tell, especially over blacks, and that annoys me. And so I'm curious if the press would like make that look a little cleaner.
but I also found that to get rid of that, I use a special vinyl laminate. This is um, Frisco Craft. It works really good. Vivid works really good, and these are very transparent laminated sheets. And as to the how it changes the color black, let me show you one of my black stickers that's used with that laminate. There's this one.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you don't see it like
it's ever
in that
so
same way.
slightly, just a very slightest amount of gray. Um, and that's from the Vivid. This
And
is,
it cuts nice.
yes, they cut really smooth. This is the one from the Frisco Craft. And
Okay.
they turn out extremely black, which is nice, but honestly, if you're it depends on if you advertise them as laminated or non-laminated. If you don't laminate them and you use gloss vinyl instead, you can retain that black depth. But
Yeah.
uh,
I just get like I really like the way they feel with the laminate over them, and I just like the idea that they're gonna hold up better, right? So I have done some where I just use the gloss, like you there was a paper you recommended, and I have done some of those, but after a while they start to curl up and separate, and that annoys me too. So I the laminates don't do that. So I just feel like it ends up being a better product, even though it's like two more steps. But the cry cut always, no matter what I did to the cut settings, always lifted up the edge of the laminate just a little bit so there'd be like a little lip there. And I was just like, why? Like,
I don't know that I can't answer that one. And I had my cricket for like a year and a half.
well, I think we can probably wrap this up. You could just don't hang up. Like I'll stop. I will do the wrap up and then we'll chat for a minute after. Um, but I wanted to thank you for coming on. I'm really glad that we got to catch up. I actually, before I started the podcast, you were like at the top of my list of people that I wanted to talk with. So,
It was really
um,
cool. I've had a lot of fun. Normally, when I do my live streams, I do them for the interaction, and lately interaction's been low. So this is nice to be able to sit and just actually have a conversation.
yeah, it's agreed. It's one of I did not anticipate that benefit when I decided oh, stopped recording, to do the start doing the podcast, but the interaction has been